Alright, I'm coming. Hey you! Happy belated Valentine's Day. If you were anything like me, then you spent your Valentines getting ruthlessly, vigorously, and lovelessly fucked by solo queue in Dead by Daylight. As much as the masochist in me yearns for this experience time and time again, every now and then I've found myself up against a killer who might not really be a killer at heart. Maybe closer to a lover. And today, I'm going to teach you how to exploit that love to give yourself a better shot at those saccharine 7,000 blood points. This is a comprehensive guide on how to rizz up the killer, coming from the least qualified T-girl imaginable. Okay, maybe not the least qualified, but I'm certainly down there. Let's get it. First things first, let's talk about everything you'll need to get ready for your date and how to be on your best behavior. Truth is, any build works, and you shouldn't really bring a build in specifically just to charm the killers. That being said, I spent nary a few racks recruiting this nation's best and brightest, top and bottom scientists, then forced them to work in the laboratory pit. And we here at Tesla have perfected a loadout designed to give yourself a leg up without throwing the game in the lobby screen. Best part is, it's a build that only requires 2 perks.
1 perk is never enough.
Number 1, Bardic Inspiration. $20, baby. If this perk doesn't charm them just a little bit, then they're beyond saving. In a regular game, it's not crazy impactful, but definitely boosts morale. I'd say the best utility it brings is without a doubt letting your whole team know where you are while you're fingering your strings. But for courting purposes, it's perfect. You take out a little guitar and jam. That's it. You play a little tune, are utterly defenseless, make a bit of noise, and so on. Having Bardic Inspiration equipped is basically like having a story about the time you got frisked at the airport and caught the TSA agent trying to photograph your feet. You can bring that shit out any occasion you want. And if you're in a prime spot to plead for mercy, this should work about 70% of the time. Maybe 69% of the time. Number 2, we got Plot Twist. Alright. You're chill as fuck. Plot Twist is essential. Not only is it a great tool to have in typical games, but it doesn't get any more submissive than downing yourself. My absolute favorite thing to do with Plot Twist is simply make the killer whiff. Make them whiff, they'll probably stare at you for like a second, and sometimes they might just leave you there based on the sheer novelty that you just did that to them. Using Plot Twist like this is funny, don't get me wrong, but it also ensures that both you and the killer still get to play the game, since you can just down yourself when the chase is already over. Unless you get hit over a pallet or through a window. Now please be advised, I think there's a bug or something with Plot Twist, and using it sometimes just makes you crouch over and over like you're teabagging, and that is an absolute no for trying to charm killers. So if you want my best advice on how to use it properly, when you're about to get hit, take all fingers off your movement keys, hold crouch, then hold the Plot Twist button. Mine is F. Sometimes it fouls up and you gotta press it multiple times. I don't know why. Just add it to the list of bugs. However, when it works, it's a guaranteed silly moment. The other 2 perks are really up to you. You can bring something that assists the team, your chase potential, or something silly, but I always find myself bringing Flashbang and Hope. Flashbang because
Think fast, chuckle nuts!
but also because handmade gifts are particularly special to give out. And Hope is just so S tier, like it's so crazy good. Like, yeah, I owe so many escapes to this perk. And besides, we could all use a little hope. And just for fun, let's go over a few more perks that can make things a little spicier and sillier. Oh fuck. Do not put that in the video, that will make people so uncomfortable. Deception is hilarious when you pull it off, but it's just as funny when you use it in front of the killer and point at the locker you just used it on. Diversion is a pebble. Throw it at the killer, throw it at your teammate, get a little rowdy. Dramaturgy is useful, but also hilarious, like the little run you do at the beginning is comical, and it can also generate an item to drop for the killer. Mirrored illusion is just so stupid, and I love it. Pop it on a totem or a gen, and take a little musical interlude while your twin does all the hard work. Finally, urban evasion gives you the goofiest crab walk of all time. Some killers find it amusing, myself included. Now, I would say scene partner, but there's a growing sentiment of folks who actually find it really fucking annoying. God damn it. No. No fucking way. Janet, you're the GOAT. So maybe if the survivor you're playing has some audiogenic screams, go for it. But if you're playing Steve, I swear to God, stop it. As far as items are concerned, if you have a surplus of anniversary loot, I'd definitely bring those in. Most killers I come across aren't really picky, but they're definitely happier when offered the bedazzled versions of the typical items. But even better, if you're looking to clean out your loadout screen a bit, bring a green key. Yes, they are pointless without add-ons, but they're so shiny, and the killer can't tell that they're utterly useless. I mean, after all, what psycho would bring an add-on-less green key into the match? Some killers seem to have a larger affinity for keys compared to other items, and while most aren't beholden to any preference for medkits or toolboxes, keys are a rarely offered treat, and thus mean a lot more for the killer to receive. What do you mean? This is literally what I'm supposed to do. Alright, well you've bought his life, but not yours. Choice of survivor and cosmetics are always up to you. Don't feel like you have to put on something extra scandalous just to increase your odds of activating the killer's neurons. Be yourself, dress exactly how you want, and if people decide to judge you harshly, hit them with a can of soup. Figuratively. You don't have to do all that. You don't have to do all that to please me. Okay, so you're all dolled up. Congrats. But let's get one thing absolutely crystal. When you load into a match, your first mission should not be to throw your teammates under the bus and rat your way to victory just because you offered the killer a toolbox. Absolutely not. People play Dead by Daylight to play the game. Well, most of them do. Not this bitch. Yeah, don't be like this jackass, who also brought the map offering, by the way, because of course they did. When people play, they get to play entirely on their own terms. You might be up against someone who doesn't recognize that there's a human being behind that goofy dwelf skin you're wearing, and your ass might be slugged for the 4K Mori. Meanwhile, the killer is chasing your other surviving teammate, who despite prematurely ejaculating themselves in chase the entire match, is somehow now lasting 7 minutes, light work, no rubber. It's rough out here. What I mean to say is that you need to keep your charm in your back pocket, not your front. It's your last line of defense against getting sacrificed, not your first. That means that you whip that sucker out when it's just you and the killer left. Sometimes you can manage it with 2 or even 3 survivors left, but I personally wouldn't, on principle. In fact, this happened to me in a survivor match recently where a wraith who tunneled relentlessly at 5 gens using only meta perks and add-ons was gonna let me live, but told me not to go rescue my teammates. But I don't particularly like dating basic bitches, so I just rescued my team to keep him in the match a little bit longer and potentially spare whoever was next in line for his lobby. You're welcome. Sometimes, when I'm playing killer, if I get someone on death hook and they start being cute, I spare them anyway, even if the whole team is alive. Like, why not? Fuck it. I can chase and down other people, and even if I don't, and I lose the match, like, who cares? Like, who cares that they all escaped? Like, why? Yeah, they were better. They were more organized. Like, you can blame RNG, and sure, sometimes it's responsible, but who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? Why would my happiness and enjoyment be predicated upon getting a 4K at all costs? That sounds stressful. So as a killer, I typically pick a favorite pet, then play the game out as usual while sparing them. But as a solo queue survivor, I typically wait for at least 2 people to die before I start meowing at the killer.
Seduce me.
You.
Seduce me. What? Spy? I ain't gonna... Right. Okay.
The first few steps to seduction are figuring out who's worthy of it, wholeheartedly accepting rejection, and finally, avoiding the desperate look. And dropping your item and crouching for dear life after getting hit one single time in the very first chase is the desperate look. Who's worthy of seduction, and how do you decide? Let's figure it out. As soon as you make first contact with the killer, you need to treat them with respect. No teabagging, even if your build is designed to take the first chase and you're trying to bait them. No dumb texts or flashy clicks, just be fucking nice, alright? This approach ensures that your appearance in the killer's eyes starts off as neutral as possible, and that you're just looking for something casual. Wink. Now, here's the thing. Even after behaving your best, you might find that the killer is just a wee bit of a cunt. And if they get pissed off easily from a whiff or a stun, or just losing the chase outright, that's literally their problem. And if they decide to decline your advances later because of it, then forget them. You're literally too good for them anyway. If it's clear that your respect isn't reciprocated, just don't bother. If they want to play dirty, fucking let them. Some people play this game for fun, and others play it in response to losing arguments with their parents. But the killers that keep their cool and chase you like a normal person are more than worth your time. Even further worth your time are killers who are clearly going for ambitious plays, like Wesker hug techs or slinger shots through tiny gaps. If you notice that they're trying some crazy stuff, it might be worth it to put yourself back in the position where they can try again. Even if they don't recognize that you're doing it deliberately, they'll still be grateful. Now here's a tough one. How do you accept rejection? For once, you're asking the right bitch. Well, you say, okay, and you don't go feral over it. It's okay to be sad about it. It's more than okay to cry. So long as you don't keep yourself in the ditch of despair longer than it takes you to crawl out. Killers do not owe you an escape, and killer players, those survivors don't owe you the 4K either. Nobody owes anybody shit. But regardless, we're kind to each other because, frankly, looking at the world through a lens of empathy is based. Thesis statement. If the killer is unrizzable and playing the game like they've got money riding on it, then they clearly don't have space for anything else to ride on it. There's plenty of naughty bears in the fog and plenty of fish in the sea. Finally, avoiding the desperate look. Avoiding the desperate look pretty much means playing by the logic I've outlined so far. Do your best, respect your fellow players to the degree that they respect you, and don't take things too seriously. If you get downed quickly, 2 tapped, okay. This game is janky, Gorge. Are you seeing this shit? You can do everything right and still lose. And you can even lose in the offerings menu. Like, it's just how it is. You can be the cutest Meg at the campfire and still get disemboweled. Boo fucking who, and who fucking cares? You pick yourself up and you try again the right way. The honest way. The only way you can. Next, it's time we go over your dance moves, the telltale gestures and mannerisms of a slutty survivor. Firstly, and some of you certainly won't have a problem with this one, but try to think of the killer like an apprehensive but intelligent dog. They're going to chase and bark at things that run fast, so if you're trying to calm them down, stand still and don't make any sudden moves. If they pause to look at you, that's your cue. That is when you offer the treat. Drop your item. Dropping your item for the killer is a universal sign that you're exchanging this shiny digital trinket for your life, and it is crucial for getting them to trust you. If you don't have an item, what the fuck are you doing loading into a lobby without an item? Do you have clairvoyance, honey? I fucking hope not. Following this action immediately with a held crouch or a slow, shaky head nod for no is basically the "alright, you big bad killer, you got me" type approach. But if you're looking to maintain some mutual respect, keep standing tall and look them in the eyes after you make the offer. If you've developed a rapport with the killer so far and had some good chases, this is most likely your best option. Ooh, that one was weird. I hated that. And if the killer is unamused and just simply sees you as an obstacle, and they try and go in for the injury or the down, you plot twist yourself. This signals to them that you're disappointed in their decision and ultimately going down on your own terms. Basically the "you can't fire me, I quit" response. So keep up the pace of the game, help your team, go for objectives, do everything you gotta do. If the killer is playing nice, even hooking, not going for the survivor fresh off the hook, and so on, then you are in a good spot. Those things are typically signs of a fair player. Typically. And if your everything isn't enough, if you feel doom encroach, when you watch all your teammates die, then let me ask you something. What do you do when you can't do nothing, but there's nothing you can do?
You do what you can.
And in this case, you can whore yourself out. If you find yourself bleeding out, replaying the same whimpering Leon ASMR audio over and over all over the map, then suddenly staring down Wesker's tentacle, you make an earnest, honest proposal. The truth is, you can be your best self, and that will make the least bit of difference with some of these fuckers. But you get to say that you tried. You get to say that you did your best, that you didn't resort to snitching on your teammates, and that you didn't play dirty. The people that can recognize that good-natured effort you're making are the ones who've earned it. And just because someone declines your advances doesn't mean that they hate you and want you to die. Probably just means that they just want to get through the game and collect their blood points, you know? These people aren't evil for that. It's a game, and it's how the game is played, so chill. Wow. Wow, Fang, that's embarrassing. And if they accept your offer, well, that's their base, baby. Yippee! Some killers like to let you walk with them to the hatch. Others like to down you and carry you to it. In the case of the latter, don't struggle. They'll kill you immediately. And in the former, be patient. They could easily slaughter you right now, but you did something cute, and they're choosing to take extra time to treat you right. They might even let you do a gen while they look for it. And if they've closed the hatch already, you go to a gate, start opening it. When they pull up, then you make your offer. Drop your item, rinse and repeat. We're already familiar. And if it feels like they're not in too big of a rush, maybe you can take them to some locations on the map that feel nice to share with someone. Fire barrels, main buildings that have a nice view, TVs, I don't know, maybe like a mattress on the ground. I don't know. It's really up to you, and it might be nice to collect a few screenshots too. It's important to recognize that after having these concepts spread out... I laughed at the word spread. I am mentally 16 years old, Jesus. It's important to recognize that after having these concepts spread out, it's time for you to improve and adapt these ideas to more specific situations and pick which ones fit you best. For example, if the killer accepts my offering and a teammate is still alive, how can I convince them to let my teammate live as well? How silly should I be? And how can I tell if the killer is amused or not? A lot of these little questions will be answered through your time in the field, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you have any advice yourself, please let me know in the comments. If any strategies for rizzing the killer, oh my god, skippity phantom ass language. If you have any advanced strategies for rizzing up the killer, please let me know. It's important to share the wealth when it comes to knowledge. Also, just real quick, I've made a lot of innuendos insinuating that the role of survivor is the sub, but that don't have to be the case at all. Be your freaky self. I could go more in depth here, but I'm not going to because I'm kind of sleepy. But thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. My Valentine's Day was rough, but I really hope that y'all's was terrific. And if not, just know that you're not alone. All right, take care, y'all. Thank you. 500 subscribers. We're at almost 800 subscribers. I'm literally in a nut and scream. The 500 subscribers special is coming soon. It is coming soon, I pinky promise. It will be funny. It won't be a video like this, it'll be something different, but I hope you like it. And yeah, have a good day, and I'll see you next time.